at this juncture, Roland is going to take over and ask me some questions about, you know, one man who trended yesterday, before Mohamed Salah and Liverpool trended yesterday, Afriyie hogged the headlines.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm asking the two of you, actually. We want to have some extensive 10 minutes with you. And, and let me start with you, Benedict, also. The last couple of weeks had seen the former second biggest person, the GFA, giving the intention to the media and the football fraternity that he wanted to contest that position of presidency of the Ghana Football Association. What may have transpired prior to yesterday, in which we had that announcement in the media?
Well, for me, it didn't come as a surprise. I mean, if you follow football in this country, follow football politics in this country, and such a decision was announced yesterday and it comes to you as a surprise, then probably you don't know what you're about. Because first, when that announcement came, it was before he was taken off as the Black Stars management chairman. And if you have a frosty relationship with the Football Association chairman, that's Mr. Kusinyantichi, and also prior to that, you send a text message which talks about how the person has been wicked, and since that time, things have not gone the way you know, you would have wished. And for the executive committee, which is made up of 23 members, for them to sit and propose that from the look of things and how things are going between the main man and the second man, there will be the need to get someone to come in and fill that position. Obviously, you know that things are going the way that we all expected or, you know, predicted. So for me, it didn't come as a surprise that Afriyie yesterday was, the FA announced yesterday that Afriyie is no more the vice president of the Football Association. And it comes to the point that, well, the man came out and stated clearly that he wanted to contest the FA position. At the time that he came out, some key members at the FA were not happy. One, the Premier League had not started, and the Football Association were finding ways of, you know, talking Olympics out of their issue in court to start the Premier League. And then you come out to announce your intentions to contest for the position. The first thing that will come to mind or came to mind was that, is Afriyie thinking of the Football Association or is thinking of himself? You understand? So these are some of the questions that some members on the executive committee raised, and based on that, I understand that they suggested to the president that, well, if this person we are all working with is more or less thinking about himself than the association, then what's the point? Okay,
so it may look, if you monitor the comments on social media and other mainstream media platforms, it may look like more of clash of egos, more of clash of personalities. Is that the case?
It could be also, because if you look at the backstory of this problem, few years ago, no, I think a year ago, Afriyie sent a message to the president of the Football Association talking about how disappointed he was in him as a person, about maybe personal relationship. We don't really know, but then rumors are coming out that it's a bit about monetary things between the two of them when it comes to the Black Stars and all that. And that's been the problem. So from there, you could tell that the relationship has changed. And people are saying that from there, when, as a vice president, if you send a message like that to your president, she should step down and not be able to work with him. But he stayed through, and he looks like he was sidelined from everything in affairs when it comes to the FA. But still, he was still around, and you can tell that he came down until recently he was sent away from the Black Stars committee chairman. And then all this time, he wasn't able to be part of the Football Association or whatever was going on. And then people are still talking about what's the Afriyie still doing, what's his position in the FA, because if you are no more the Black Star committee chairman, you are not part of the executive committee meetings, it looks like you've been sidelined from almost everything. What are you still doing there? So when the news came, wasn't a surprise, but you can tell that it was a bit of egos. That's why Afriyie also came out to say that he wants to contest as a president.
But we know that there are regulations governing the Ghana Football Association and the way it operates. What are the rules? What structures, and also perhaps what the ordinances mandate the decision that was taken yesterday? Because I just want some explanation to that.
What happens is that the Football Association president at their last Congress was given the mandate to appoint the vice chairman or the vice president of the FA. Unlike previously, where they will go to Congress, they will vote for the chairmanship of the FA president as well as the vice president at their last Congress. So that was when Nyantikyi appointed George Afriyie as his vice. So in this case, what happens is if the person doesn't want to work with the man, well, it's either a member on the executive committee will raise that, or the president himself can say that, okay, based on ABCD, I don't think I can work with this person. Okay, but so that decision, he must then tell the executive committee for them to deliberate on before they can conclude, because Nyantikyi alone cannot come out and say that, okay, this is what I've decided and that this is what we're going to work with. Even when he appointed George Afriyie, they have to take it to the executive committee for them approval. For approval. So it's the same thing. And in this instance, I understand that it was Kojo Yanka, who is a member of the executive committee, who actually suggested that, well, from the way things are going, for him it will be nice, or it will be good for in terms of the federation's image, that George Afriyie will not be there. And then they tabled it and the executive committee members agreed to it.
Well, someone will say that all these have been in the offing. We've had great conspiracy theories over the period. And if the scenario and the whole order has been that we've had the various appointments or offices as top executives of the GFA elected, it presupposes that the last Congress had all this coming into play with the influence of the president of the Ghana Football Association, in which he would appoint his own vice.
Yeah, and consecutively, we've seen the situation happening as soon where the president has appointed his own vice and sent them away. The last time there was an election was when the late Jordan Nagbla was elected, and then he died, and then later on, Fred Krenzel was appointed to be the vice president. Until then, when he came, he was also there. He was never being elected. There was an appointment till Fred Krenzel was also left out.
Okay.
When Fred Krenzel also left out, he appointed George Afriyie, and at the moment, he's taken George Afriyie out.
Okay, but let's talk about the qualities of George Afriyie. What did he bring to bear to the Football Association, as well as his influence in the management of the various positions that he had, and the responsibilities he had with the national team, etc.
Well, with the national team, he actually started from the juvenile level, that's the under-20, where he played some international competitions. He was the man with the team. After Jordan Nagbla left the scene, that's the under-20 team. They played at the African Junior Championship and also the World Cup, which we did very, very well. So it was from there that they gave him the Black Stars, and you know, when he joined the Black Stars, things did not go quite well. We couldn't make it to the World Cup, and also we couldn't win the Africa Cup of Nations in Gabon. But in terms of his whatever he did at the Football Association, I would say that he was a very good vice president. When Nyantikyi wasn't around, he did the job quite well. He also handles Liberty Professionals as one of the executive guys there, which, I mean, even he did very well. Liberty Professionals last season nearly went on relegation, but for the good measures he put in place, they still stayed in the Premier League. So for George Afriyie, his contribution at the FA, I'm not sure you can question that. He did very, very well at the association. But in terms of, I mean, everything that is going on, it's got to do with football politics, and it's got to do with who is in charge and what they want. If the majority says that, well, if the majority say they want this, who are you to say that you stay?
I know, right? But we've been speaking to some football fanatics, and also have been observing what the game is, and so we'll bring you some Vox Pop, what they have been saying following the announcement of the dismissal of George Afriyie.
I'm not surprised if the exit is long overdue. It's supposed to come earlier. The day he declared he's going to run the elections as the football administrator, he's supposed to be sacked long time, because you are with this man ruling the affairs of Ghana football. All of a sudden, you turn your back against the man that you want to run. What's the new agenda are you bringing on board? You are not going to bring anything on board. The exit should even come long overdue. So I'm in support of this exit from the Ghana football administration.
It's not the best. Once he has retained his intention to stand for the post, I think they have to allow him to also contest and see whether he can win. Because it's not a monarchy system. He alone cannot be there. He has been there for almost about 12 years now. I think all the ideas he has gone bad. So somebody should also bring some fresh ideas so that we see. But to me, for sacking him is not the best. That shouldn't be the solution. I don't think it is too early, because he also has supporters. So he must be preparing their minds that, oh, okay, our leader wants to contest. They must be preparing the ground for. So it's not too early to me.
Kwesi Nyantikyi, being the GFA president, I think has had a lot of years to prove to Ghanaians he is capable. Why you do, baby? You understand? Whichever point he has taken it to, I think it's time for someone to succeed and continue the good works he did. But dismissing the man is sudden, like it's mind-baffling, you understand? Because putting into consideration those that are likely to succeed him, I think he had a greater chance of becoming the next GFA president. So I want to believe there is a bit of backstabbing somewhere, you understand? So
he was appointed by the FA boss. So if he is sacked, that means that he's not performing up to what he is expecting. So if he is sacked, that one, I don't think we can blame him too much. What we are expecting is we want Ghana football to develop. That is, if he is sacked and they can go on and develop the football of this nation, it's okay. But if it will affect the Ghana football or the GFA, that one, it is that one that we have something to say about it.
Football commentators or fanatics or observers of the game making their own comments and expressing views following the announcement of the dismissal or sacking or removal of George Afriyie. But at this point in time, is it going to have any effect on the way the Ghana Football Association operates, or even generally the rank and file of Ghana football?
Not at all. It won't have any effect. What's for the president to do now is to appoint a new person, which we understand that will be very, very soon. And for George, I mean, he has already noted his intentions of contesting for the GFA presidency next year. And according to his campaign manager, Afriyie, we spoke to him yesterday, he mentioned categorically that he's not backing out. He's still on course as to whatever plans that they have going into 2019.
This means that at least his campaign will take a big nosedive, won't you say?
Yeah, of course, and he would have to try and get people in the FA to get behind him, because at the moment, if you look at the way he's been left out, most of them are with the FA president, and if it looks like Nyantic is going to stand again, George will have a lot of competition to deal with.
Okay, so what's the structure? What's the electoral college for electing
the president of the FA? Well,
definitely.
So it's got to do with the Football Association Executive Committee representatives.
The very body that unanimous.
The representatives of the Premier League.
Dismiss the man.
The Premier League clubs as well as Division 1. So, you know, we're going to have 123 people vote. Yeah, just 123. So, in that case, if you do your campaign well, it's not a general election where you go and stand on the podium and you try to speak to Ghanaians to convince them. This is got to do with a small body, the constituent bodies as well as representatives from the Premier League clubs and the Division 1 clubs. They are the ones to go into vote.
Now, with this affecting or likely to affect his campaign, what does he need to do to pick up from where he left off?
Well, you've declared your intentions to contest. So what you have to do, you still have to go on with your campaign. Now you have to speak to the clubs, you have to speak to the bodies, the constituent bodies, if they believe in your ideology and if they believe in whatever you put on the table, they will vote for you. I don't think that this will affect whatever he wants to do. I mean, since he knew what he was getting himself into, and he noted that they've done all the study around whatever that probably could happen. One was about those that probably could contest him, and then all these issues. So I'm sure, I mean, they sat and they thought about all these issues. So I'm not sure this probably will affect whatever plans that he has, and that he just have to, you know, be himself and go on.
Well, thank you very much, the two of you. And Selwyn Saki joining us as well as Benedict also. Well, we have to take a break from now, but please make sure you get interactive as always. Facebook JoyNews on TV is our regular page there. You can also watch us live through our regular channel on YouTube, My Joy Online TV. We're always happy for you to join us, and we told you we'll be discussing the dismissal of George Afriyie. He had been appointed by the president, and now, well, this was tabled to the executive committee of the Ghana Football Association for him either to be retained or be approved or to be dismissed, and ultimately the announcements came in the wee hours of yesterday that he'd been dismissed. We'll see how that goes as far as not only his campaign to be the next president of the Ghana Football Association or not, but also how he assets himself in Ghana football. But today we'll be live from Cape Coast, the Central Regional Capital, and there's a report of an upsurge in cases of teenage pregnancy, and this is due to children or young people or teenagers having unprotected sex. But on one hand, we've had authorities also say owners of pharmacies are said to be blaming consistently themselves because they stigmatize children who come to their counters to purchase condoms. Richard Kojo-Nyakun will be live from Cape Coast with a conversation with authorities on the increasing spate of teenage pregnancies being recorded in the Central Regional Capital. Also there in the Central Regional Capital is Maxwell Agbagba, who is roving on all things, and very soon we'll be bringing to you that great conversation. And you can already see Richard Kojo-Nyakun ready himself to make sure he brings us those incisive discussions on the increasing spate of teenage pregnancy, and then later also we'll have Maxwell Agbagba. But right now we have to take a break. We'll be right back.